men and women cannot be friends. They were friends for 5 years, then they dated, and then now they had a child. You just prove my point. No, it's cool. Hold, wait, whoa. Did you just hear what I said?
You didn't even let me land.
You don't need to land, because she said they were friends for 5 years. Now, Now, I'm sure.
I am.
Did you have a man during those 5 years you were friends?
Put that cape on.
No.
Yes,
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we've got a few videos about single moms and why they may be struggling when it comes to dating these days. And we even have a woman who had a kid for a guy she claimed to be just a friend. So if you want to know how that worked out, let's get into the mess.
Would you date a woman with kids? And if you would, are there limitations? Like age ranges, the amount of kids, the custody agreement? Would you date a woman with kids? And what were your parameters?
While it wouldn't be my first choice, I could see myself dating a single mom had things turned out differently for me. And before you all go off in the comments, you just have to be realistic about these things. Once you start hitting your 30s, mid-30s, and most definitely your 40s, the chances are, if you meet someone new, they might already have kids, especially if you're dating within a certain age bracket. And even though men of all ages tend to have a preference for women in their 20s, the fact is, most guys wouldn't be able to get with a woman that age once they start moving into the later stages of their life. I mean, a lot of guys are struggling to date right now, so unless something drastically changes in their lives, things won't magically get better for them down the road. Most people tend to date within their age bracket, so the older you get, the more likely it is that if you decide to settle down, it will be with someone who has children. Now, how many kids are you willing to accept is another thing altogether.
So one of my biggest insecurities in the dating world, and it shouldn't be, is that I have kids. I have 5 kids. Granted, 2 of them are grown. I have a grandchild. But I have 3 young ones that are still in the house, 13, 10, and 4. And while I do have 50-50 custody, one of the questions that I seem to get a lot is, how often do you have your kids? For me, that's kind of a red flag.
Honestly, I don't see how that's a red flag at all. And if anything, it's an important question to ask if you're going to start dating someone who has kids, as it's likely to impact how much time you get to see each other. Unless she's an irresponsible parent, she's not going to be introducing some random dude to her kids after the first date. So it's important to work out how you're going to navigate this. If she's dating a guy who doesn't have kids, he will have to consider whether he thinks he'll get to spend enough time with her, because if not, his time may be better spent elsewhere.
I mean, I get that you want to have alone time and you want to have time in your schedule to be able to date and things like that. But what if I didn't have 50-50? What if I had full custody of my kids?
Well, that's something that might make dating a little trickier. Not impossible, but you'll certainly have to be more methodical with your planning and all that. Also, if she has full custody of the children and planned on introducing a new guy sooner, which is something I'd never recommend, he will have to consider whether stepping into a stepfather sort of role so soon is something he wants to do, especially if he doesn't already have children of his own.
Because to me, my kids are the part of the package. If you don't love my kids as much as you love me, then it's a no-go. If you don't want my kids around as much as you want me around, it's a no-go. And I can remember in the past where I would get so insecure when people would ask, how many kids do you have? I'm not doing that anymore. I'm proud of my kids. I have fantastic kids with huge hearts. I'm not one of those parents where kids should be seen and not heard.
There's no reason as to why she shouldn't be proud of her kids, but at the same time, she has to consider where the other person is coming from. If I was going to start dating a single mom, I wouldn't want to meet the kids right away either, and while they may come as a package deal, I'd need to be sure about her before taking a big step like that. Also, they wouldn't be my kids, so while I may have feelings for the woman I'm dating, I'm not going to automatically care for her children as if they were my own on the first day I meet them.
My household is filled with laughter and rambunctiousness. Do they have respect? Yes, they have respect. For the most part. But my kids are free to have fun in their home. And I refuse to be ashamed. And I think that's a big thing in the dating world these days. Because I think a lot of women feel like they have to be ashamed of the amount of kids they have or how old they are or what the custody schedule is. So would you? Would you date somebody with kids?
Again, there's no need for women to be ashamed of their kids, but it's also important to understand how having children might complicate your dating life and why that may be the case.
Sometimes pregnancy can come on early in a relationship and a long-term relationship. Like with my daughter, I fell pregnant at 8 months. I knew this guy for 5 years. He was my friend for 5 years. And then I fell pregnant.
Oh, wait. Hold on a second. He was your friend?
We were friends.
Guys, men and women cannot be friends. They were friends for 5 years, then they dated, and then now they had a child. You just prove my point. No, it's cool. Hold, whoa, did
we can be friends.
You just hear what I said?
You didn't even let me land.
You don't need to land, because she said they were friends for 5 years. Now, I'm sure.
I am.
Did you have a man during those 5 years you were friends?
Put that cape on.
No.
Yes,
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so I'm sure during that 5 years you were friends, yeah, that man might have had certain types about this guy in it, yeah, because I promise you he would have been like, no, we're just friends. Imagine what he's thinking now when you break up and then this guy becomes your baby daddy.
That's crazy. So it's likely that this guy waited all that time just so he could get some ass. I don't know why a lot of women don't believe it when you tell them that a guy will wait a decade plus to get some action. And if it means being your friend for that whole time until you give it up, he'll happily play along. In any case, this whole story is just another reason as to why guys shouldn't buy into that whole "he's just a friend" thing. Just think, how many times did she tell her man during her relationship that her now baby daddy isn't someone he ever had to worry about? And all the while, this friend was thinking about how he could clap her cheeks.
Yeah, but the thing is that it's not about that. We were friends. We were. Pardon?
You weren't friends.
Know that you were friends with.
Well, we wasn't like friends, like, you know. But
how did you meet him?
I met him out, like.
Oh yeah, you weren't friends.
We're just out and about.
And
we would talk on phone.
Did he offer you a drink? What was the situation? How did it?
Like conversations, text.
So he was trying to move to you.
So let me tell you what women do.
He liked me.
Let me tell you what women do.
But I friend zoned him.
So, okay.
And did you tell your partner at the time that this guy contacted you?
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah? Okay, cool. And what was your partner's response?
Even the way she met this guy was hella sus. And I don't know why she'd even entertain it if she was in a relationship at the time. This is the kind of person I'd say isn't a safe partner, because they're likely to put themselves in situations where shit can go down, and their ability to put up and maintain boundaries is weak.
He was cool because they were cool.
Okay, so let me tell you how it goes. Women friend zone guys, they call them male orbiters, and they keep them orbiting them like a planet. So they orbit around these girls, yeah, and they know that these men want them, and they give them
their backups, essentially.
Yeah,
is what they call them. But I don't agree with the statement of men. They can be friends.
So they orbit. They know that they can't get in there, but they just orbit, waiting for one day that they're gonna get the call, then they can say, "Hey, mothership land." So what tends to happen is,
I don't think that's the case.
Bro,
not for everyone.
Bro, okay, you know.
Why do you think it's not for everyone?
You know what it is? I've done this test with.
I don't think everybody.
What?
Everybody
agree with me?
thinks that way.
Of course, not everyone thinks that way, but I'd say that in 95% of male and female friendships, the guy is just waiting for his chance to hit, and he'll wait for however long it takes.
Come on.
And the man is in hope.
Come on, you man a joke.
No, not all men are. Not all men are.
No, this is not about all men.
And not all girls will flick the switch and be like, oh, today I want you. I don't think.
Bro, Moby, speak. She's not on mic. Speak to the mic. We're speaking. It's not about all. We don't deal with absolute. But the majority of men that are orbiting around women, they're not orbiting around them because they're their brethren.
No,
they're orbiting around them
like
because
them.
one day, and let me tell you something, every man can tell you about a story when he got promoted.
He's not wrong. When I was in my late teens and early 20s, mostly during my college years, I got a few promotions, so I know exactly what he's talking about.
He said nothing wrong. Like, it devalues the woman when you go through multiple men and have multiple baby daddies. We don't want to deal with that. If you got 3 kids and 3 baby daddies, it's like, damn, your decision-making skills are horrible.
Y'all
forget that y'all are the ones who playing right there.
And then y'all forget that I'm 41 years old. I got a 25-year-old child. So you're basing your perception of me from 25 years ago.
Come on.
I'm not that person I'm not that kid that I was 25 years ago.
Speak on
and I'm not that young adult that I was 25 years ago. I've grown from that. I've healed from that. I now make better choices, better decisions. Right. And I live more of a healthy love life, you know, than I did then. So you're going to tell me, oh, well, you got this many kids, I can't date you.
No,
but that happened 25 years ago.
Not the number of
At what
kids.
point are you going to give grace? Like at how long are you going to, I don't want to use the word punish, you know, for lack of better words, a woman for her past.
It's
like Brian came out and said, I don't judge a woman from their past. You know, we all make mistakes. And then he basically just flat out judged.
That's the gentleman's preference. We're not judging you for how many kids.
Yeah.
It's how many baby fathers you got. If you get with a guy and I'm 40 years old per se, and I have 8 kids by 6 different women, that says something.
And then everybody's situation is different.
Like 4 kids
all have
and
different
4 baby daddies.
I think he's right. When you're getting to the stage in which you have 4 baby daddies or baby mamas, it does say a lot about your ability to make sound decisions. I will also agree with what she said about people changing over time. We're always growing, so how we think and act today won't necessarily represent who we are tomorrow. But I don't think that's what he's really referring to. In any case, for me, if over, let's say, a 10 or 15-year period, a woman has multiple kids for multiple men, it'll affect how I see her. I won't necessarily think she's a bad person, but she's definitely not someone I'd want to tether myself to, nor would I want to deal with multiple guys having a say regarding what goes on in my house.
But that's not what it was. My children, I have by 2 different men. And I was in a 12-year relationship that was abusive. I escaped that by God's grace. I give thanks every day. And so when I moved on to the next relationship, I'm just looking for something better than what I had. And just because it was better doesn't mean it was for me. So when I realized this isn't for me, you know, should I marry this man just because society is going to look at me like I'm a failure as a mother or as a woman? Or no, should I keep going and look for what is really for me? I'm not going to say that I've made all the best decisions as a young adult. I never said I made the best decisions.
And that's what we're referring to, the decision-making skills.
Yeah. That's in the past. So you're not going to meet a woman and she tell you she stole a candy bar at 14 years old. Oh, no, I can't do that. I don't do thieves. She's always a thief. Yeah, she was a kid. She made a mistake. She ate that and the candy bar is gone. So in my situation, I feel like I ate that. I ate that relationship that I went through. I ate being a young teenage parent. I ate it. Like the young kids say, you ate. I feel like I ate. I've grown from that. I'm not that person that I was.
The relationship is awesome, but the key, you're bearing the man's children.
While I get what she's trying to say about the past not being representative of who she is now, having a child with someone is a big deal. And I think it's a decision a lot of people are making too lightly these days. Anyway, before we move on to the last and final clip, here's what some people were saying in the comments.
Real men do not judge a woman this harshly. The perfect man for you will take you as you are.
Do multiple baby mamas devalue a man?
12 years abusive relationship. That right there says a lot about decision making.
In regard to that last comment, I have mixed feelings about it because being in an abusive relationship isn't always an easy thing for women to get out of. However, I do take it with a grain of salt when someone online says they've been abused, because sometimes it feels like a word that just gets thrown around.
Right, I don't understand men that won't date a single mum or a woman with kids. And mainly because I find it a bit weird. I think there's so many positives to dating a woman that's got kids already. First and foremost, the snacks. The snacks when you go around her place. The cold Capri Suns from the fridge. The chocolate mini rolls in the cupboard. Sometimes, if you're lucky, she's got a pack of penguins.
Given his first reason as to why he thinks guys should be open to dating single moms, I don't think he's being serious, but let's hear him out.
That's just one positive. The other one is she's experienced a bit of life. She's had to do some of the hard shit. She may well be a little bit more grown up. And the other obvious one is, she ain't out every Friday and Saturday acting like the cretin in the bar.
As I always say, not all single moms are created equal. And just because a woman has kids, it doesn't mean she's not down at the club shaking her ass like there's no tomorrow. It really does depend on the type of person you're dealing with.
Or at all the after parties and all that nonsense. So I don't really know what the problem is. Apart from the man would have to be a bit more of an adult to accept that, you know, she's not always going to be available. She might be doing shit with her kids. She might have to have, you know, an amicable relationship with her ex-partner for the benefit of the kids. But I can't see any real negatives. So I don't know, if you're one of these guys that won't, could you please explain why? Because I'm struggling to work it out. Anyway, see you in a bit.
It's just common sense to me. If you're a guy who doesn't already have kids but wants to have a family of your own, it makes sense as to why you'd want to do that with someone who doesn't already have children. And there are a lot of women who feel the same way. For me, it's nothing to do with being an adult or more mature about things. I just wouldn't want to deal with the extra hassle that comes along with building a life with a woman who already has children. As I said earlier in the video, if I was still looking for someone to build a life with, dating a single mom may have been something I had to do, so I'm not someone who'd say they'd never do it. Heck, if I get divorced in the future, it may very well be the case that I end up dating a woman who has children. That being said, for single guys who don't already have kids, it makes sense to me as to why they wouldn't want to take on this burden, and that they pretty much spoke their minds in the comments section of this video as they went back and forth with one of the women.
Because I don't want to raise another man's sons or daughters. Because if I take the risk and it doesn't work, not only do I lose my partner, I lose the kids I've bonded with.
Bobby, I'd never want any man to raise my child. I'll do that myself with Dad. However, I do expect them to be a bonus adult in their life and be able to have a good relationship with said child.
It's just my opinion, and it won't be the case with every single mother. Doesn't really apply to me anyway. I've been in an 8-year healthy relationship, but if I were single, I wouldn't date single mothers.
Fair enough, but to assume you'll have to raise any child from any single mom is a misconception. My comment is to widen your view and reduce stereotyping and narrow-mindedness. Good luck.
I'm sorry, but he would have to raise that child. There is no way he wouldn't, so please don't lie.
Haha, it's the fact. If you aren't contributing, making decisions, but just involved in a child's life, but from the outset, just knowing them isn't raising them, Lee.
I've got to say, I agree with the guys on this one, because if I moved in with a single mom, a byproduct of that would be me helping to raise the child. I don't see how you'd be able to avoid that. It's something that'll happen naturally. Depending on the age of the child, I'll most likely end up paying for school trips, contributing to the things they need, and maybe even attending their parents' evenings. I know this because I had a stepdad, and these are the roles he took on over time, regardless of the fact that my real dad was still in the picture. Anyway guys, that's about it for today, but if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps me out. And if you want to share your own thoughts, hit up the comments section.